Scotty, welcome to the show. My phone has been blown up because of this letter from Fargo Public Schools, Fargo people reaching out to Florida educators, trying to recruit them because of the quote unquote "Don't Say Gay" bill. What's your reaction to this letter from the people here in Fargo?
Well, first of all, Chris, thank you so much for the opportunity. And for those of you who may or may not know, I actually grew up in the Minnesota area, went to college in the Fargo, North Dakota area. And so it feels good to be talking to some hometown people. Sure appreciate you guys. And I try to tell people, like, listen, you may not be able to vote for me there if you're hearing my voice. However, you can help me get elected because I'm a hometown guy. I grew up hunting, fishing, helping out the neighbors. That's kind of the values that we have. And I still have those values as I go to Washington, D.C. And speaking of those values, I live here in Florida right now. I've lived and traveled around the world, but we have been here in Florida for a number of years. And I really support Governor DeSantis. In fact, I've got a lot of signage for him. I think he has been a very, very strong leader. And I 100% agree and support with his leadership regarding this. And the bottom line is there are talking points. What we're seeing is politics at play. But the talking points say, hey, don't say gay, but that's not even in the bill. Governor DeSantis has addressed that and said that. They are using and weaponizing language to try to push forward an agenda. And what Governor DeSantis and the Florida legislature, and by the way, myself and many other conservative candidates are doing, is we're trying to protect our kids. And what we believe is we believe schools should not be a place of indoctrination. And that is what's happening. And that's what this bill is in place. And so, by the way, we're addressing in this bill kindergarten through third grade. And I don't know why we can't agree that kindergarten through third grade should not be talking about their sexuality, gender fluidity, transgender, pushing forward an agenda, and especially having teachers push that agenda. We believe in parents' rights and allowing parents to be able to teach, train, and equip and determine that, not the education system. And so I fully support Governor DeSantis. And by the way, what's happening in Fargo, and I lived in the Fargo-Moorhead area for a number of years, is really unfortunate and it's sad. And if parents in the community don't rise up and bring back the we the people and stop what's happening, you're going to start seeing some very, very ultra liberal radicals taking over the Fargo-Moorhead area community. And that's what you guys are at risk of right now.
I mean, Scotty, at times it sounds like we're in Fargo, Frisco. I'm sure you saw the vote where, they rescinded the Pledge of Allegiance 7-2. So it's just been stunning to see how fast things can move in that direction. I will get back to that if you want, but I want to just for clarity for maybe people that haven't followed the Florida bill as closely as obviously you have, just give us a lay of the land. You're saying, hey, Chris, there's nothing about don't say gay in the bill. That's alluded to in the letter from the people here from Fargo. What exactly is the bill doing for kindergarten to third graders? My understanding is basically just empowering the parents that, hey, you've got more say over the education of your kids. Is that an accurate assessment on my part?
100%. And that's what the platform for Governor DeSantis has been. And that's what I believe in as well. Listen, I'm an America First Republican. What does that mean? That means we need to put America first and also the Constitution first. And that means not having the state come in and dictate and determine and even indoctrinate what's happening in our kids. There's even a lot of anti-American woke policies being pushed into. And what's scary is as I've been campaigning all throughout the Central Florida area, I live in the Orlando area here, I have talked to so many parents who have grown adult children who are very remorseful because they have been indoctrinated. Their kids have been indoctrinated through elementary, middle school, high school, and then into college. And now sometimes even those kids are having kids and they are completely so far away, drifted away from what their family values are, from the conservative values, and they are completely woke. And it's not because of what's been happening in the family, but it's because of what's been happening in schools. And so Governor DeSantis has been very proactive at giving parents rights to speak into. And this is something that schools should not have any place to deal with. And by the way, most parents would agree, common sense would say that kindergarten through third grade, that you don't need to be worried about your sexuality. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy. Let's protect our kids. Let's protect the innocence of kids. Let's have a great time. Let's learn about things that are important and really grow. But let's not allow, especially teachers in the education system, to bring that agenda, to bring that indoctrination, that slow drip, to bring the confusion, by the way. and introduce things that are not natural, the gender fluidity, the transgender, the pushing forward. And that's what this bill does, is it protects kids and it also protects parents' rights. Those are two really important platforms that I believe in.
Do you want to make a pitch? I mean, you got no state taxes in Florida. It's warm weather, pretty much all year round. You want to make a pitch to get some North Dakotans down there?
I got to tell you, I mean, like I said, I grew up in the area, and you go through a number of winters, and I can't tell you how many of my friends have said the phrase, "When I get old enough, I'm moving out of here." And by the way, they visit the palm trees area, whether it's in Arizona or whether it's in Florida. I prefer Florida because we've got a great governor, we got great leadership. And I mean, it's amazing. It's tropical, it's different, but there's something about the area that has got this incredible draw where people just aren't able to let go. And listen, I get it. I mean, great people, really great people, good culture. The problem is I just wasn't enjoying it all that much, And so I'll visit and have a great time, visit the people. But Florida's my state. I love living here. Yeah, no state taxes. And by the way, we're leading the way. And this is something that I say often in the campaign, and I really believe it. Is I believe we're at a critical moment in our nation's history, and I don't think I need to convince you or the viewers who are listening to my voice right now all across the country that our nation's in a really critical moment. And I believe it's because we're experiencing a leadership crisis. We're experiencing a leadership crisis locally, like you're describing it right now, which we'll talk more about. But even in states, you talk about what's happening where the Chinese and even Bill Gates are buying up huge amounts of farmland, even near military bases, by the way, but also across our nation, we're experiencing a leadership crisis. We see it. What happened in Afghanistan 1 year ago was a tragedy. We should not forget about it. We should talk about how it was an embarrassment. Many American lives were lost and even left behind because of lack of leadership. And what's happening right now, we're not energy independent. The border is porous. It's crazy. But you look at Governor DeSantis and how well he's leading. That's an example of how leadership matters. And there's a difference. There's a stark difference in leadership. And that's what we're experiencing. And that's why people want to move to Florida. So come on, everyone's doing it. Join us.
I was going to say, everybody's moving down there. I mean, you had the guy from Citadel move down there from Chicago, and you got some other major funds and things. But it's an interesting dynamic, and I don't want to get into this with you, but dynamic with, Trump, DeSantis, and even Francis Suarez, the mayor down in Miami, that are all have their eyes on the prize at 1,600 pen. So I want to talk more about your campaign in a moment, but two more things is that you look at what's sucking all the oxygen out of the room today, and that is Liz Cheney being defeated in Wyoming. What say you?
Well, I mean, it's about time. And that's really part of the critical moment that we're experiencing in our nation's capital and also just across the nation is this. We have a bunch of people who claim to be conservative, but they're anything but. And, one of the things that President Trump really revealed during his tenure in the presidency was that the swamp is even more swampier and deep and even more rotten than we thought it was. And so the establishment on both sides of people wanting to stay in power, who are hungry for the position, for the influence, for the power, who want to drive and do what they want to do and push their agenda. And we're seeing that in Liz Cheney and pushing forward. And then even her trying to rally Democrat votes. I mean, it's rotten. So I'm glad that she's gone. She was very dangerous. She was not representing the people of Wyoming. And that's what happened. Listen, the people made their voice heard, and they did not want her anymore. And so that's the constitutional republic that we live in is being played out and lived out, and it's a beautiful thing.
Quickly, just a couple more minutes, what's the reaction to the Mar-a-Lago raid in Florida? Like, what are you hearing on the ground there?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think similar to probably all across the country and maybe even across the world, there's shock. We believe it's significant overreach. I believe that the FBI is not all bad, but I think what's really rotten is the DOJ, Merrick Garland, some of the leadership. Like, again, leadership matters, and we're at a critical moment, and leadership crisis is all over the place. And so what's going on is this should have never happened. We have Hillary Clinton with 33,000 top secret emails and everything. That didn't happen. We got Hunter Biden. We have so many different examples of opportunities where we could have pressed in and we didn't. Yet you have a former president of the United States being raided, significant overreach, very dangerous. And by the way, it just shows the weaponization of these three-letter government agencies. The DOJ really showing itself to be out of control. And we're going to learn more. And there are some whistleblowers that Congressman Jim Jordan, and so there's still yet to be determined all that is it entails. But what about the CDC, NIH, Fauci, out of control, determining? What about the WHO entering in and Biden giving over part of our sovereign power as a nation? What about just the IRS and the 87,000 more agents that have just gotten signed into a bill, the law? That is dangerous. That should scare everybody, regardless of your race, regardless of where you're at. They're coming after you, the money, and they're trying to. I mean, it's a clear and present danger. We need to have Americans wake up and understand that there are consequences, and we need people to fight back and rise up and be a part of the process. For example, here in the state of Florida, we're 6 days away from the primary on August 23rd. And what I tell people is not all candidates are alike. And so we need your help to get the right candidates through. Liz Cheney was not the right congresswoman, and she was voted out. We, the people, still have the power. We need to rise up and make our voices heard. And so what's happening and what people are saying is significant overreach, very dangerous. I think it's going to backfire. I think it's very dangerous.
Scotty, thank you for the time and the insight. I guess I want to give you a chance now. Like you said, 6 days away from your primary. People down here want to support your campaign. How can they go about doing that?
Yeah, well, you can see here, ScottyMooreForCongress.com, Scotty with a Y, Moore. You can check out my website. I'm all over social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram. We need your help to share. Like I said, you may not be able to vote for me. However, you can donate. You can be a part of helping out. Every little bit helps. You know, the maximum for the primary is $2,900, but you can give $5, $10. Again, every little bit helps. Be a part of the change. You know, donations are fuel for the campaign. That's how we get our message out. And we need ammunition to put lead on target. So will you help us? We've got the momentum. We've got the excitement. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening. And by the way, we didn't even really talk about what's happening in Fargo in the school district. You guys are under attack. And I'm hoping that you have brave citizens to rise up and fight back against what's going on. It's very, very liberal. Do not let the radical liberals take over the Fargo-Moorhead area. Fight back. You have a voice. Use your voice and help me get elected to fight on your behalf as well.
Scotty Moore, a hometown boy running for Congress down in Florida, District 9. We really appreciate the time, and good luck for just 6 days away, my friend.
Chris, thank you so much. I look forward to coming on here more often and addressing you and the constituents there all across this nation. You guys are great. Keep making your voice heard, my friend.
Thank you. Check them out, ScottyMooreForCongress.com. Again, ScottyMooreForCongress.com.